in the world of real estate, people are starting to talk about NFTs and it's starting to get interesting. And I know you know a lot about NFTs. So I was wondering if we go down that rabbit hole first.
The first thing we probably need to explain to everyone is what is an NFT, because only a small portion of them probably understand it. So the best way I can kind of describe this to you is NFT stands for, and this is going to make you more confused than ever before, by the way, NFT stands for non-fungible token. I know.
Welcome to the Jennifer J. Hammond Podcast. Jennifer is a licensed realtor, educator, speaker, and best-selling author. Jennifer's goal is to help you find your yay in every day.
Hello. This is Jennifer J. Hammond. And I'm so excited we have Vince here today. Oh my gosh, if you don't know Vince Warnock, oh my gosh, you need to know him. He is amazing. And he hails from the other side of the world, from New Zealand.
Yay! In a freezing cold New Zealand and pouring down with rain at the moment, but still, we're in New Zealand.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding. And of course, I right now am hailing from Florida, where it's almost like 100 degrees here.
I'm not sure if this is the weird thing. I'm not sure if we want to trade with each other. They're both bad, but on the other extremes. So, you know.
Exactly. I was going to say, it's not necessarily the thing that we want everybody to experience, because believe me, nobody's super happy about the Florida weather right now. But just so people know, you are an award-winning marketing and visibility coach. You're also an author. You're a host of an amazing podcast called Chasing the Insights, which I am excited about being a guest on your show next month.
Absolutely. Yes, I'm super excited to have you on the show. Yeah.
Well, I do a little bit about your story, but before that, I want to talk about NFTs. Oh my gosh, I have learned so much about NFTs from you, but particularly in the world of real estate, people are starting to talk about NFTs and it's starting to get interesting. And I know you know a lot about NFTs. So I was wondering if we go down that rabbit hole first.
Absolutely. Oh, yes. So I think that the first thing we probably need to explain to everyone is what is an NFT, because only a small portion of them probably understand it. So the best way I can kind of describe this to you is NFT stands for, and this is going to make you more confused than ever before, by the way, NFT stands for non-fungible token. I know, stupid name. But what this basically means is the non-fungible part means non-replicable. So think of it like the analogy I usually use is if I gave you 20 bucks, Jennifer, and said, go get some lunch. Then Jennifer went off and bought herself some lunch and then came back to give me $20. She's obviously not giving me the original $20 note. She could give me 2 10s, 4 5s, bunch of other combinations that I can't do in my head, that kind of thing. But will give me a replication of that money and it'll be the same value. However, if I was to give you the Mona Lisa and say, here you go, and you came back and said, here's a Monet, then we have a conversation about that because that's not the same. So therefore, an NFT is or the non-fungible part is a digital asset. So this could be an image, could be a video file, could be an audio file, anything that's a digital asset that is non-replicable. So that's that part of it. The exciting part, though, the part that I really love, because that's the bit that's speculative, that's the bit like trading artwork and things like that, where people go, oh, yeah, I like that picture of a bored ape, or I like that picture of a mutant, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I will buy that and that'll hold some value, blah. I don't care about that side. I care about the T part of NFTs, which is the token part. And what this means is this digital asset can unlock a whole world to you because it sits on what we call the blockchain. It sits on a thing called a smart contract. And that can enable so much. So when you purchase an NFT, when you own an NFT, you're owning that digital asset, but you're also owning a whole pile of other things that it can unlock for you on that digital contract, on that smart contract. So this could be access to something. It could be, free entry to something. It could be one-on-one time with someone. It could be ongoing, rewards and giveaways, all sorts of different things that it can do. So that's, in a nutshell, an NFT. And hopefully people aren't as confused as I was when I first heard what an NFT was.
I know the first time I was so confused, and you have actually cleared so much of it up. And I know in one episode, this is going to be very difficult to clear it up, but I was hoping that you would you use a couple, maybe 1 or 2 actual examples so that when you talk about like some of the benefits, that could come with an NFT, what would be some of those benefits? Okay, or give an example of a specific one.
Yeah, there are so many different examples that I love in this space. Some very basic ones, for example, are there's a service that do coaching basically. So there's a coach online. I'm not going to name them. There's a coach online that sells NFTs, but the idea is that NFT gets you access to his programs. It gets you access to one-on-one sessions with him. It gets you access to be part of a mastermind, etc. So think of it like your smart contract, your NFT is a ticket. It's your access to something. Right. So that's a real simple way of looking at NFTs. Other use cases of this are it can give you ongoing rewards. So, for example, and I've used this. We have a 5-day challenge with you've been in, Jennifer. We use this example here, but there's a guy who wanted to set up EV chargers, so electric vehicle chargers across the US, because he was sick of driving everywhere and then running out of power, and then freaking out about where he's going to get charged. So he would set up these stations around the US and you could go and charge your vehicle there. Now, problem with that is it costs a lot of capital for him to be able to build these machines and then go to install them and then for them to be active. So what he did is he sells these NFTs. And when you buy an NFT of this particular electric vehicle charger, you get the benefit of naming that charger, which is kind of quirky and kind of different, but also you get a percentage of the profits from that specific machine. So as a consumer, you get the chance to not only buy something that holds value to you and has ongoing value, but you can get rewards from that as well. And from his perspective as an entrepreneur, he basically has just crowdsourced all of these machines. He's crowdsourced the manufacture of these charging stations. So those are two of them. The other one that I really am passionate about, because I'm doing a lot of work in the space at the moment behind the scenes, is in the not-for-profit and charity space. And a good example of this one, a little bit inside info for all of you. I'm working at the moment with an organization that rescues young women out of sex slavery in Nepal and India and that. And these young girls go across the border. When they go across the border, they think they're going there to meet their prospective husband or their boyfriend or job opportunity, but the reality is they're going into something very devastating and horrendous in every single sense of the word. So these people do this amazing work. They're basically like Liam Neeson and a ninja combined in one. They go in there and they rescue these girls and they bring them into another life. They get them out of there and things, and they save these girls' lives. So I want to be able to help fund that. And part of the way I'm going to do that is a pile of NFTs, which are like depictions of these girls, not their actual faces, but like an illustration version of them with the eyes all blurred out. And the idea is when you hold one of these NFTs, that's a life that you've saved. Like the value of that NFT is exactly how much it costs to save one of these young girls' lives. So even though you're not getting some tangible benefits in that sense, you are getting the benefit of knowing that every single one of these you hold. And honestly, I will see people holding a dozen of these things going, I've saved a dozen people's lives. So this is an ongoing thing. And every time you resell that, so say, for example, you go, I've got a dozen, I need a new dozen, I'm going to sell these ones off. The portion of the resale value of that goes back to that organization. So somebody else now saves a girl's life and there's additional money goes back. So whole pile of use cases that are really, really, like, honestly, we could spend about 5 hours, I think, digging into every use case out there.
I know we don't have enough time, but I'm so excited because I think NFTs in the world of real estate are just they're gonna, again, there's so many ways. You just touched a little bit on the coaching side of things where there's all sorts of real estate coaches, but I mean, it just, and again, it's like gymnastics, mental gymnastics. It could be so many different ways. And I love that you talked about the nonprofit side of it, because there are so many nonprofits that, again, people often, they want to donate and they want to be part of the process, but then they don't really have anything after the charity ball or this, but the NFT gives them something that's really tangible.
Yeah, this is the thing that people miss. And this is going to sound really crass for a moment about human nature, but everybody thinks that human beings want to give. And they do, don't get me wrong. But somebody doesn't just sit down there and go, I've got X amount of dollars in my bank, I want to give away that to a specific charity. What they're actually giving to is not just I'm giving this money and throwing it away. They're actually going, I want to know that I'm impacting people. I want to know that I'm making a difference. So when you're actually investing in a not-for-profit or a charity, when you're giving your money of that, you're actually giving impact. So having a way of showing the impact that you've given really resonates with you. And I've seen this. I did some work with a rescue helicopter. So they have an organization over here called Life Flight Trust. And they had this issue where all of their donors, so basically their donors give money to them. They run these planes and these helicopters. They rescue people's lives. And they had a problem where a bunch of people said, hey, I'm going to, I'm going to donate this money, but I want to know where this money's going. So the organization misunderstood what people were asking and thought, well, we need to do a fully transparent, P&L. We need to make sure everyone knows exactly where every dollar goes, to know how much goes on cup of teas in the waiting room while the pilots are waiting to jump on a plane and go and rescue someone, all this kind of stuff. But actually what people were saying is, I want to know that I'm making an impact. And when we worked out it cost, I think it was about $1,500 to save, no, $1,200 was $1,200 to save a human life. That's exactly every $1,200 that's donated, a life is saved. I was like, okay, first of all, when I asked them, I said, do you know how much it cost? They said, oh, $1,200. I said, right. First of all, two things. Number one, here's $1,200. Oh my God, I just saved someone's life. That's the coolest feeling ever. And the second thing is, why are we not using this as marketing? That's what people want to know. So we embarked, that was even pre-NFT worlds, but it really was tapping into why people give.
And it's really important. They want to know that they're making an impact. And the NFTs is really special because, and I do want you to talk about, if you will, the NFT, the Christmas Ninjas. Will you talk about them?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm so excited about this. We actually, I don't know when this is, but we have our minting party this weekend. So essentially, what we're doing is we have about 15 years ago, I wrote a book. It was a children's book I wrote for my son, and we wrote it for him because he was 4 years old at the time, and we tried to tell him about Santa Claus, and he was just like, nah. He said, "Dad, that's a stretch." And I went, "Okay, he's never going to fall for this. We have to tell him the truth." So we said to him, "Look, you can't tell your friends, but Santa ain't real. It's just something that parents and Coca-Cola make up so that kids behave themselves." And two things happened from that. One, he turned around and just said, "Look, Dad, if you're going to make up stories, make them interesting." This is a 4-year-old mind. Make them interesting. And he said, "Put ninjas in them." And I went, "That is the coolest idea ever." I chuckled about that for a week, I tell you. But the other thing that happened was it made me realize that this whole concept of behave yourself really bothered me. And if I look at most of the Christmas traditions, particularly the secular traditions, they're really based around, hey, get on the nice list, or don't upset the elf on the shelf. Basically, if you, be good, then you will be rewarded with a gift. And by be good, we need to be realistic what that actually means. It means do what you're told. Right. And that really bothered me as a parent of 2 kids. I'm like, okay, now I'm not saying I want them to misbehave all the time and not do what they're told, but as a baseline, I don't want them to just do as they're told. I want them to aspire to so much more. And by do as they're told, I mean, by parents, by teachers, by employers and things like that. If they live their life going, I'm just going to do what I'm told and be rewarded for that, that is not living. That is not fulfillment. So we wrote this story called The Christmas Ninja, and it basically combined all the Christmas traditions. You had little baby Jesus in the manger, the wise men coming down, the Christmas ninja stealthily following them. And when she got there, she had to protect baby Jesus from an assassination attempt from Santa and his evil ninja elf clan. So massive battle ensues. Long story short, Santa gets defeated, gets banished to the North Pole with the elves, and his penance, once a year, has to deliver presents to all the kids. And now the Christmas Ninja embarks on their new mission, which is to roam the land looking for people that are deemed worthy of the traits of the Christmas Ninja. And those traits are honor, respect, courage, compassion, and self-sacrifice. And when she finds these people, she deems them worthy, bestows upon them a gift, and then they become a Christmas Ninja as well. So that was the book we wrote 15 years ago. Never did the artwork for it because I suck at art, but it was the story that I wrote for my kids. And that became our Christmas tradition. So every year, we would pick a person each that we deem worthy for whatever reason of those traits, and we would get them a gift, all anonymized. And on Christmas morning, you get up, you're allowed to open one present each, and then you had to stealthily go out and deliver this anonymous present from the Christmas Ninja without getting seen. And it's so much fun, and the kids took it so seriously. I think my son at one point, when he was about 7, had a spreadsheet of all of his friends trying to work out who was more worthy than the others. But it also started to spread, and we didn't know this. Because once you've been deemed worthy, you are now a Christmas Ninja, other people started to take the tradition up. And I bumped into a few people here in New Zealand where they've been deemed worthy by a Christmas Ninja. And I'm like, well, I've never met this person, so they're definitely not someone I've deemed worthy. And then recently, even I was on Twitter talking to a bunch of people, and someone in there freaked out when he heard the story because he's like, 5 years ago, he's based in the US. 5 years ago, I got deemed worthy by the Christmas Ninja. I had no idea what it was. I'm like, wow. So we thought, okay, this is something that obviously is inspiring people to want to be better. And that was kind of the goal of this with my kids. So I found an incredible artist, just an absolutely beautiful artist who is working with me on the book. But she also has a passion, like the two of us have quite a passion to impact people. And we said, well, why stop there? why not? Let's see if we can actually affect some kind of change. So we looked at what the flow-on effect of doing this family tradition was for me and my family, particularly my kids. And one of the things I realized is by them actively looking for people that are worthy of those traits, they have reprogrammed their brains to see the best in other people. And we thought, why don't we launch an NFT series that literally rewires your brain? Right. So every holder of that NFT, multiple times a year, they're going to get this companion NFT, this worthy NFT, for them to gift to somebody they deem worthy, somebody that demonstrates these traits. And in doing so, that not only are they going to inspire other people to want to be good and to want to do these incredible things, and basically these aspects that make us incredible human beings, but by the same token, they're also going to see the best in other people. When you're reprogramming your reticular activating system to go, hey, you're filtering, your brain's basically filtering all this information every single day, going, but there's everything out there. I need to know what is important to me. And you're telling it the good in other people is what is important to me. Show me the good in other people. You will be more positive. You will be more optimistic. You will just see that better side of human nature, even, and this is crazy, even in the people you don't like, and even in the people you may disagree with, you will still see the goodness in all of them. And we just think that's something that the world desperately needs right now. We need an injection of positivity. We need an injection of seeing the best in others, and just reminding people that humans are actually quite amazing. We're awesome people, So that's the kind of birth of that. There's a whole pile of other stuff. You also get access to our epic Christmas party every year, where we're going to break the Guinness Book of World Record for the largest online Christmas party. It's going to be awesome. Plus, we're going to launch a social good arm of us, where we look after kids that are in orphanages and stuck in hospitals and hospices at Christmas time and things. And we've set up a whole metaverse. I don't even know if you know this yet, Jennifer. We've set up a whole metaverse play there. We've got these islands in the metaverse, which they're absolutely beautiful. Everything's like something out of Call of Duty, like the graphics and things. But we're setting up these dojos on there where you can go and you can actually learn from experts in compassion and courage and learn how to be courageous. We're going to put together strike teams of self-sacrifice that are looking for people out there in the world to be able to bless and to be able to help and things as well. So it's really, it's the start of a pretty amazing movement. And we've got whole plans to roll out other stories in this expanded universe, all building up, by the way, to something we're calling the Age of the Dragon next year, which is just, I'm not allowed to talk about that. My team just told me if I mention one word of that, snipers will take me out. So, so yeah, very excited about that. So that's kind of using NFTs for social good, but also using NFTs as a way for people to rewire their brain and rewire their cognitive function, which I thought was awesome.
Well, and I think it's so exciting because there's so many different aspects of that I think is so brilliant. Because again, as you said, when I love the fact that your son made a spreadsheet and started really analyzing who is the most deserving, Christmas ninja this year. Because again, he is starting to look at it completely different. And the other thing is there's something very, very special. I mean, this year, I'm actually getting a Woman of the Year award. And it's so weird.
Very well deserved, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm so excited about it. And part of it is just being awarded something. So being awarded something that's special, but especially by somebody who has somehow observed you when you weren't looking, when you may or may not have been at your best. But again, just like looking at people when were they doing their best? And did they make a difference? And did they help someone else? Again, when no one's looking, are you willing to step up and be that? And I just thought, gosh, it's so special to be awarded. So I love.
We're actually, and we haven't talked about this too much yet because we've got this roadmap basically, which is our business plan of where we're heading with this. And one of the things we really want to roll out next year is our own kind of award system. So as well as people being able to award these NFTs to people, we actually want to set up like a worthy award where we recognize the people in this world that tirelessly give, because there are so many people you've never heard of. Everyone hears about the big names, and you might hear about a celebrity that's done really well because like I look at I'm not a sports fan at all, but I'm a fan of Steph Curry just purely because of the amount of charity work that he does and the amount of work he does to help young people. That resonates with me. But there are people there that work, daily in soup kitchens and homeless shelters, people that daily give up their time, their money, and everything to help other people so self-sacrificially. We want to recognize and reward that. So we're going to set up this awards system where you will win a worthy award, and we'll set up like a global thing there as well. So, and in real life events eventually. So I'm going to be able to travel soon. Our borders are finally going to open here in New Zealand. So we're going to set up some in real life events in the US and just get all these incredible people together and just really honor them, right? Honor the sacrifice that they've done and the impact that they're making on this world, which is significant.
Which is significant because when you see that, when you go to that and you see what someone else has done, then you reflect, whether you want to or not, you reflect on yourself and you go, what else could I be doing? It just happens.
Yeah,
it's almost like a competitive thing of how can I be more good? How can I make a bigger impact? And that to me is also the part that is so inspiring about the Christmas Ninjas and all this whole project that you're doing. So definitely you'll have to come back on and give us the next update once once the next stage is out there. But I know we're so close to, I don't want to run out of time. I wanted you to share a little bit about your story, because you have a very powerful story, and then you've got this amazing podcast. So if we can start a little bit with your story, because you didn't just come with a silver spoon in your mouth and with everyone handing you everything. And I think I have a lot of times where people have that idea about me because I've been so successful. They think I had just a super easy life. And I think this is something that I didn't want to start with it because I wanted to go through some of the really amazing things you've done, because I think it has more of an impact now when you'll share. It hasn't always been easy, right, Vince?
No, I grew up like a lot of people, and I'm not saying I'm anything special based on this, but I grew up in a very abusive household. I grew up in poverty. I grew up with a drug addicted father, alcoholic mother. And I grew up in an environment where if you were noticed at any point in time, then you were a target. And this was not a safe environment for children. So that was very limiting, obviously. When I was age 7, we didn't have enough room in our house for all the kids. So they basically put me in a caravan. They found this caravan, old caravan with no insulation in the middle of winter, no electricity, nothing, put it out on the backyard. And that was where I now slept. So you used to wake up with ice on your chest. And it was a miracle, to be honest, that any of us really survived this. But that being said, in the neighborhood I grew up in, this was also commonplace. A lot of the children that were there grew up in this poverty, grew up in abusive households and things as well. But at age 11, I had something that really impacted me. So growing up in that environment, school was always a safe place for me. It was always the place where I didn't have to have my guard up. I could just be myself, which was awesome. But at age 11, I discovered 2 things at the same time. First was a bully at school. So I'm like, great, I've got a bully at school, a bully at home. That's not good. But the other thing I discovered was this incredibly inspirational teacher. And I remember I was a cheeky kid because I was a very bright kid, but I was also very cheeky. And he was telling us we had to do these projects. And he said, right, don't forget class, you got to do an oral presentation. And I'm like, pfft. And he goes, what's that, Vince? I said, why do we have to do an oral presentation? And he goes, well, it's going to prepare you for life when you have to do these kind of things going forward. I said, when are any of us, because we're in a really poor school, when are any of us going to get an opportunity to speak publicly or to speak in front of a crowd? And he goes, well, how about now? I went, what? And he goes, get up the front. So I got up in front of the class and he thought, right, I'm going to call you on this. So he got up there and he said, Vince is going to speak for 5 minutes to the class. What subjects are you going to speak on? Now, these are 11-year-olds, not known for being entirely creative. So all they came up with was the egg. So I had to speak for 5 minutes on an egg. And I remember kind of panicking about it. I'm standing there and he said, right, you got 20 seconds to prepare, blah, blah, blah. Your time starts now. When he said that to me, the only thought in my head was that stupid saying, what came first, the chicken or the egg? So that came out of my mouth. And then my brain went into this other mode. And I just kept talking and I kept pulling these strings as I'm talking to people, and they'd laugh when I pull that string, and they would go, when I pull that string and everything. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And I got on this flow, and it here on the back of my neck was constantly up. It was incredible. It was an adrenaline rush. We got to the end, he goes, you got 20 seconds left. And I finished by going, I don't remember any of the middle part of what I spoke about, but I just remember the beginning. And at the end, so obviously the chicken came first, and the class roared and they were laughing and everything like that. And I remember just feeling buzzy. And I turned around to this teacher, this incredible teacher, and he looked at me and said, that was amazing. I said, oh, thanks. He goes, no, listen to me. He said, that was amazing. You have a gift. He said, do you realize you could do something really significant with your life? And that moment, I felt for the first time ever a sense of belief, and that someone believed in me, and a sense of hope for the future as well. I thought, I'd kind of resigned my fact at age 11 that I was just going to be a statistic, that I was just going to survive life at the very least. But he showed me that there was some hope for that. And that weird feeling on the inside that I had, that bubbly feeling, just going, oh my goodness, I feel alive. I feel incredible. From that moment, it inspired me to not be defined by my past, which is cool. And there was a long kind of road to accepting myself and things like that as well. I'm still to this day dealing with a lot of the trauma of the past and things, but obviously pushed through a lot of that. But it also inspired me to want other people to feel that as well, to want other people to believe in themselves and to realize that every single human being, even the ones we don't like, even the ones that we think are horrible and mean to us and bullies and all those kind of things, every single one of them has the seed of greatness in them and has the potential to do something really significant with their lives. So that was a pivotal point for me. So I kind of went through, I kind of got in and out of both corporate and entrepreneurship through most of my career. I think I was just coming off the back of selling my largest ever startup, actually. It was a multi-8-figure exit after about 3.5 years of extreme stress and anxiety.
Wow.
Joined the team at Cigna Insurance, became the chief marketing officer there. So I was there for 5 years, and that was a dream job on paper. Like everything about that job was incredible. Like the pay was amazing. The opportunities I had were incredible. Got the results, managed to turn their online sales from nothing to almost half their revenue in 5 years, which was incredible. And then got the recognition for that as well. Got to travel the world, speaking on stages everywhere. I'm one of those rare people like you, Jennifer. I love public speaking. Put me on a stage, I'm so happy. And then I got recognized for my work. A number of awards, including Adobe recognizing me as one of the top 50 marketers in the world. So all of that, publishing my first book, sitting in my fancy office with my Mad Men style whiskey cabinet. I was very proud of that cabinet, Mad Men style whiskey cabinet. And I remember sitting at my desk going, wow, I'm incredibly unhappy. And I hate my job. And I felt really guilty about it because I'm going, why do I hate this job that people would kill for? Like in marketing spaces, if you're a marketer, being a CMO at a Fortune 100 company is pretty much the pinnacle of what you can achieve. And I had that, and I really didn't want that. So I had to realize what that was. And that was the fact that I was unfulfilled. That was the fact that I wasn't helping people. I wasn't going back to that 11-year-old that had found that sense of hope. So I made the easiest hard decision in my life. This was like November, December 2019. Said to our CEO, that's it, I'm out of here. I've got to move on. I'm going to become a full-time author, and I'm going to help people. She thought I was having a breakdown, threatened to get me psychologist. She's like, wait, this doesn't add up. You know how much we pay you? And I'm like, it's not about the pay. She goes, I don't understand. I went, and that's part of why I'm leaving. So I left there January 2020, just before kind of COVID hit the world, and embarked on this new kind of path, which is really about helping as many entrepreneurs, business owners, as many people as I possibly can. And honestly, I'm enjoying every single aspect of this now, Jennifer. And I know you yourself been on a similar journey. Just being able to impact people and help others is the most fulfilling thing you could ever do.
Absolutely. Incredible. And just quickly, before we run out of time, tell people about your podcast so they can tune into your podcast. Amazing podcast.
Well, I started this 2 odd years ago. I've lost track of all concept of time and space, it seems. But I really launched this to help entrepreneurs. Because I know that, it's really hard to sometimes get that inspiration you need, get the information you need. So I thought, why not? I just interview all the best in the world. I get the experts in marketing, sales, mindset, anything that can help an entrepreneur on their journey. So I started by only getting the big names, obviously, and also, once a week. But then I realized there are so many little stories out there from people, so many people who have just embarked on something, but they've learned a valuable lesson that others should learn as well. So I now do 3 episodes a week where I just interview just some of the most amazing and inspirational people across the world. And it is a global audience. We're in 78 countries of the world. And it's currently in the top 5% of podcasts, I think it is. But it's just something that I thoroughly enjoy. And I get to meet incredible people like you, Jennifer, and super excited about our episode as well, because I know how much value you have and how much you add to this world, which is incredible.
Thank you. And I can't wait for that episode, because there's all sorts of things that I've been holding back that you don't know about me yet. Because I want to press them on you in the episode.
It's actually something I do, just for all your listeners, and that something I do is I make sure I don't know the full backstory of any of my guests, because I want it to be, when I'm hearing it, as much as a surprise as it is to you. I want to be in that moment like you're in that moment. So therefore, I'm basically you in that conversation. So the amount of times that I've been interviewing people and I burst into tears or crack up laughing or just go, what was that? Like, that was craziness. It's just incredible. So yeah.
And that's the same thing. I love doing the exact same thing. That's the first time I've ever heard that story. And it was so touching. Thank you so much for sharing that story of that 11-year-old boy, because again, I think all of us have that pivotal moment, especially as an entrepreneur, when you're like, wait a minute, I'm a square peg and I don't fit in this round hole. And so I'm going to have to, and the money, and again, the money is not the thing here, even though how much money you can make.
And going back to that teacher that impacted me as well, that's been part of the passion behind the Christmas Ninja Project, is people like that. They do this for no recognition themselves. They do this because they're just passionate about helping others. I want to be able to recognize and reward that. And every single person has those stories. They have that person that really touched their life, that person that turned them around and was there for them in a really difficult time. And to be able to recognize and reward those people is just something that I think is incredibly beautiful. And our whole team, but we put together a really solid team. I've been blown away by the incredible talent that we've got on board. The entire team, and most of our team meetings end up in tears at some point because we're talking about someone that's inspired us and things. But the passion on every single one of them to bring this to life is just amazing.
It's so funny. You have given me so many ideas. I want to take notes the entire time while we're talking, because I've just got all these amazing ideas. But I know we're out of time, I should say. We are totally out of time. So number one, how can people find your podcast? How can they find out more about the Christmas Ninjas and all the things you're doing? Yeah.
Oh man, I make this super difficult. No, I'm joking. I make it real easy for you. Just go to chasingtheinsights.com. That's the home of everything. It's the home of my podcast. It's the home of my books. You'll see there's a couple of key things on there. There's one is book a free strategy call. If any of you need to talk about, becoming published authors, any of you need to talk about visibility or NFTs or anything like that, just book some time with me. Honestly, I've been doing marketing for over 20 years. I won't admit how many over, but I've been doing this for a very long time. I love giving back to people. So book a free strategy call. It's 30 minutes and I'll give you some clarity around your challenges. But you'll also see a little purple button there saying join the free 5-day NFT challenge. And that is where you get to learn all about NFTs. And at the end of it, you get a free NFT as well. But it's also where you'll find out more about the Christmas Ninja Project and all the NFT work that we're doing, which is just amazing. So yeah, go to chasingtheinsights.com, look for all those buttons, click on those, and you will find me. And connect with me on social. Unless you're a spammer, I am totally open to connect with me on every social platform. Have a chat with me. I love meeting new people.
And I highly recommend the 5-day NFT challenge. I have been through it multiple times now, and I just can't get enough. And I think it is something that we all need to understand and know about, because it is, I want to say it's the future, but it's already here. It's just, I know some people, it reminds me of, how some people don't want to use a smartphone. They're like, no, I want a dumb phone. I want this, I want to go back in time. Well, we can't go back.
It was like when the web came out. I remember everyone laughed at me because I got really, like in the early days of the internet, I got into web design and they were like, why? It's a fad. No one's going. I'm telling you now, it's not a fad. If you look at the practical applications of NFTs and smart contracts, you will see why I'm excited about it. But also just take a look around you and everyone that's investing in this. Every big brand is making a move in this space. Every major corporation, every known entrepreneur, all the big entrepreneurs, all moving in this space for a reason. It's here to stay.
Absolutely. Well, so I know we need to end, but as you know, I would like to ask you if you'll lift your voice and say yay with me as we go off the air.
Of course I will. I'm looking forward to this. Yeah.
Okay, good. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Thank you so much for being a guest today and for having halfway across the world. We're merging the worlds. Yay!
Hi, I'm Jack Canfield. You may know me as the co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. And if you want more help in getting from where you are to where you want to be, I want to encourage you to listen to the Jennifer Hammond Show